welcome back to the second day of this wonderful workshop. Just to recapitulate what I mentioned yesterday, you all remember the story of the 4 wives? So we have to spend time to look at our first wife. We don't have time for the first wife. Always we are engaged in the 4th, 3rd and the 2nd wives. So Rajendra always emphasizes we should spend at least 1 hour every day for the yoga classes, practicing yoga, practicing meditation, practicing pranayama and many others. The important aspect is that yoga is a very comprehensive methodology, hundreds and thousands of techniques. Swami Vivekananda put all this into 4 main streams of yoga. He called them as Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. Jnana Yoga deals with the intellect. Raja Yoga deals with our willpower. That is the name given to Patanjali Yoga, conventionally, which is known as yoga. It's about 900 BC, according to Max Muller. Then we have Bhakti Yoga, the science of emotions, how to gain mastery over the emotions. This is the most needed dimension of yoga in modern times. Unfortunately, in our education system, we are developing our intellect, we are developing our creativity, probably the memory, and several dimensions of our left lobe of the brain. But we don't have a component to deal with our emotions, which is essentially the feature of the right lobe of the brain. So it's a big vacuum. And it is for this that we have so many problems of our student community. Particularly in this country, depression has become such a big challenge. Teenagers, 30-35% of the teenagers suffering from depression. What a shame, what a concern. When they should be all bubbling with joy, enthusiasm, energy, vitality, and power. They have all become so depressed. Why? Because we don't have a component in our education system to deal with our emotions. So when we encounter different demanding situations, then we don't know how to handle them. Our response from the emotional front is very weird. And we get lost. Therefore, the science of emotion culture, the Bhakti Yoga, is very, very essential. So in our university, it has become a very strong, integral part of our education system in our university. Then we have the 4th stream called Karma Yoga. All this wisdom base has to be brought into our day-to-day activities. Karma is action. Normally when we do action, when we do our work, when we are involved in our normal profession, invariably we develop a lot of tension, lot of stress. Can we learn that wonderful secret of working in relaxation, working in effortlessness, working in blissful awareness? That is the very special secret that the Karma Yoga offers. Therefore, in the 4 main streams, you can work either with the intellect or with our willpower, Patanjali Yoga, or work with our emotions, or bring that into our day-to-day life through Karma Yoga. Swami Vivekananda said, you can choose any one of them, whatever you like, or two of them, three of them, or all of them. And what is the goal? The goal is to be free, he said. Freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from all tensions and stresses. Freedom from all diseases. Freedom from all bondages. Slavery. Hey, what are the bondages I have? Bondage of the mind. What is that? Since we get up in the morning, till we sleep in the night, we go on thinking and thinking and thinking. If you tell your mind, come on, stop, 5 minutes, don't think, it won't hear us. Is it not a big slavery? This is what Patanjali says. Yoga is to gain that mastery over the mind. Slavery to the emotions. We are tossed up and down in our emotional upsurges. Anger, greed, jealousy, hatred, infatuation, arrogance. All these things torture us. And we have no mastery over the emotions. We are slaves to the emotions. And look at the slavery or the bondage of the intellect, ignorance. Even with all the development of modern science, our knowledge is so small. We know just about our physical universe, never beyond it. We don't understand what is mind, what is consciousness, what are emotions, all these things we don't understand today. Ignorance, called avidya. So we have bondage at all the level. And what about the bondage of the body? You have to go on feeding. You have to take the fluids for quenching our thirst and whatnot. Can we be free from all this? Yoga says yes. We can be free from all this slavery and the bondage. And that's the goal of yoga. That's called moksha. Moksha means absolute freedom. Patanjali called it as kaivalya. A state of great exalted condition of total mastery. Buddha called it as nirvana. A state wherein you are in that absolute silence. And in modern times we can call that is the ultimate reality. And then therefore, what is the goal of life? The goal of life is to manifest that divinity. That state of freedom is a state of infinite bliss, infinite knowledge, infinite power that we all have. But they are all hidden. They are not getting expressed. So the goal of life is to manifest the divinity. So we can again proclaim. How to manifest? Why it is not manifesting? Because we have barriers. We have got dirt in our mirror. We have to remove the dirt. We have to remove the barriers. We have to remove the cloggings. Yoga is essentially a process of purification, cleansing at the body level, prana level, mind level, emotional level, intellectual level. And when you purify, the tremendous power, tremendous bliss, all is going to manifest. This is the whole essence of the 4 streams of yoga that Swami Vivekananda has given us. So we can be free not only from the mental problems, but we can start moving towards positive health and move towards perfect health. It's not enough that we maintain our normalcy. We have to grow day by day to better and better health, positive health, and move towards perfect health. That perfect health is a state of absolute freedom, a state of mastery mastery over the mind, emotions, intellect, everything. That is what we aspire when dealing with problems of mental health in yoga. We are not just satisfied that we don't have a depression, we don't have mental retardation and epilepsy and other mental problems. We want our students, our teenagers, our citizens to be not only free from these mental problems, challenges, but they should grow day by day, better and better. Move from animalistic, instinctive level to become normal, great, super and divine human beings. Just talked about the concept of health. That is our health line. What I have been telling is that we are in normal health. We must prevent from going down into the third quadrant. We must move from normal health towards positive health and perfect health. That should be the goal. Goal of the life. So according to Upanishads, yesterday I mentioned to you that the entire creation is on continuous change. Everything is changing. Our body is changing. A billion cells getting created every day. A billion cells getting destroyed every day. And what about the mind, emotions, intellect, everything changing. So, that ever-changing creation has emerged from something which does not change. And that's our real self. That's what we all are. That's called Parama Atman, self of all of us. What's its structure? Infinite bliss, infinite power, infinite knowledge, infinite happiness. That's our original state. I call them as that state as our sweetest home. And from that sweetest home, the whole creation has come. Not only the physical world outside, not only the physical body here, but the mind, emotions, intellect, everything has come out of that. This is what yoga tells us. And that from where it has come is known as different names. Brahman, Atman, reality, pure consciousness, Kaivalya, Nirvana, Moksha, a state of absolute freedom. So this ever-changing creation has the seen and the unseen dimension. The physical is the Annamaya Kosha. Then we have the Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. Just to capture it in your memory, which I talked just now. And we understand that this entire physical world is nothing but energy. Modern science has understood E equals mc squared. But what does yoga tell us? Yoga tells us, prana is at the base of all creation. Just like energy is at the base of the physical universe, prana is the basic fabric of this entire creation. And therefore, creation can be called as prana shakti, the power of prana. This power of prana is a function of the bliss, Anandamaya Kosha, the Gnana Shakti, the power of the intellect, then Buddhi Shakti, the power of discrimination, then we have Manas Shakti, the power of the mind, then we have the Ichha Shakti, the power of our willpower, Prana Shakti, and energy. So, the 5-layered consciousness that we are having here, they are all layers. The physical, the prana, mind, emotions, intellect, and the bliss layers. And what you see here is the pranamaya kosha. This is the physical body, slightly bigger than the physical body in the pranamaya kosha. Just like nerves and blood vessels and the whole bone structure make this physical body. This entire thing is made out of thin nadis, channels of prana. Normally they are not seen. And that pranamaya kosha pervades the annamaya kosha here. So then we have the manomaya kosha, which is bigger than the pranamaya kosha, and manomaya kosha is featured by Ichha Shakti, Manashakti, the power of the mind and power of our emotions. Then we have the Vijnanamaya kosha, which is much bigger than the other three koshas, which control all the other three koshas, other three layers. And that is called as the power of buddhi, the power of intelligence, and the power of wisdom, information, knowledge, and the power of discrimination there. And the last is the biggest of all the koshas, and that is called the Anandamaya kosha, and that is having the power of bliss. And this is our causal state, the bliss. Therefore, Prana Shakti is a function of all these powers. So what we have understood in the modern science is energy is one part of the whole Prana Shakti. That's what yoga tells us. So prana, therefore, in its original state is what is called as sun, what is called Brahman, is called pure consciousness, unchanging reality, infinite knowledge, infinite power, infinite bliss, and have the highest freedom. That is what we all are. Vivekananda again and again emphasize, each soul is potentially divine. Each one of us are this original state. Then, what is the difference between energy that we talk about in modern science, which is also available everywhere, and the prana that we talk about yoga? What is the difference between the two? Prana has intelligence. It has the freedom to change. The prana can expand itself, contract itself. It can move in this direction, it can move in that direction. We are all human beings endowed with that intelligence. Intelligence features prana, whereas energy has the least of it. We can say it does not have intelligence. If you keep an object, it is going to be there unless we move or we take it out. That is the law of Newton, we all understand. Therefore, the prana in its grossest manifest is energy. So here is the electromagnetic spectrum, the whole electromagnetic energy put forth here. In the center we have the light, where the famous big they are, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. What are we plotting here? We are plotting the frequency of the electromagnetic radiation. And as you move in this direction, the frequency is increasing. As you move from the violet, then you have the ultraviolet region. Then when the frequency becomes more, the wavelength reduces, becomes smaller and smaller, and come into the region of X-rays. Further reduction in the wavelength and tremendous frequency increase brings us to the region of gamma rays. And when you further increase, it is so fast, it almost solidifies and becomes matter. This is what happens when we convert energy into matter. Cyclotrons, for example, are the instrument which can convert energy into matter. That is this end of the spectrum, increasing frequency. What happens in the other side? When you go on reducing the frequency, the wavelength increases and the red, then we have the region of infrared radiation, IR. And when you further come down, you have the radio waves. The wavelengths are quite high, short, medium and long waves, radio waves. The frequency is reducing. As the frequency reduces, wavelength goes on increasing. When you go further with the lower frequency, then you have fields, electromagnetic field everywhere. This is our entire electromagnetic spectrum that we understand as Nagendra vibration. Then I have another model, the pranic spectrum. The prana, as I told you, is the basic fabric of this whole creation, not only just the physical. That is the physical thing here, matter. And the level of matter, it is all energy. The entire energy spectrum is here, matter and matter here. But then, once you come into the region of plant world, then you see the manifestation of prana, life. Life begins in the plant world. There are the cells, basic cells. What is the difference between a dead cell and a living cell? All of us are aware. It has locomotion, it has got reproduction. That means the prana can move by itself, can reproduce itself, whereas the minerals or the matter do not do that. This is what we see in the plant world. And therefore we can say that a new dimension of freedom has emerged in the plant world. And the freedom goes on increasing as there is evolution. And in the border region, we find the plants which have a higher freedom of the sense of touch. All of us have seen the touch me not plants. Just touch, they just fold. The Drosera plants, I've heard. I went to the botanical exhibition. The beautiful creepers of Drosera. What is the speciality? If a small insect comes and sits on that, it just folds and eats it up. And I heard that there are, in the deep forests, there are huge Drosera plants. And they have got leaves about 20 feet high and about 10 feet wide, very thick. So during scorching sun of summer, these will throw very nice shadow. And therefore the animals come there and nicely rest. They sleep in the beautiful shade of these big trees. But when there is a small animal, like probably a jungle cat, a forest cat, small one, then what happens? Something strange. This starts coming down, the leaves start coming down. And the cat is nicely sleeping, it is coming down, then it starts secreting very sticky fluid. And the cat cannot expect. Take that to the bosom and eats it. Animal eating plants. How is that? Intelligence has a new freedom. That it recognizes a small plant, secretes a fluid, catches it and takes. This is the region of the transition from the plant world to the animal world. Then in the animal world we all know that we have the motion and the reproduction, and it has got the four characters: ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithuna. Ahara is taking food. We also take food, animals also take food. Nidra, they also sleep, we also sleep. Bhaya, they are also afraid of things and we are also afraid of things. And maithuna, maithuna is reproduction. They also produce children, we also produce children. Four common factors between human beings and animals. In the transition, a dimension starts coming up, and that is the region of intelligence. Once we are having a nice hike, a group of us, and we started very early, and we had to cross a few mountains and forests, and we had to reach another place, and we had carried all our lunch, and we thought that we'll finish that, and we'll reach a place where we'll get nice food by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But our hike was a little slow, and by the time, already it was about 3 o'clock, we have finished our lunch, and we are feeling very hungry, still another 2 hours to go, we're all tired. We are looking for something, some fruits or something. Then we found a nice mango orchard. And it was all season of mangoes, and we were all very happy. We get nice mangoes, ripe mangoes. We went there. But when we went there, all these mangoes were ransacked by monkeys. So we felt very bad. Then we went a little further. Then there was a nice orange orchard, full of beautiful oranges, yellow oranges. We were very happy. But we got a doubt. How is it these monkeys who are ransacking all these mangoes have not destroyed the oranges? So there was a person, we asked, sir, what happens when these monkeys come, they pluck the orange and try to peel. Then the bitter juice goes into their eyes, they throw away and then run away. That is how the orange orchards are protected. But now something different happened, sir. I said, what? A monkey came, he took the orange at the back and peeled the orange and started eating. Now we are in for danger. This is what we call intelligence. It has started coming in our predecessors, the monkeys, which we have in plenty, intelligence. What is that we call as intelligence? When this doesn't work, this works. Kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum shakta. To do it in a particular way, if it doesn't work, do it in a different way, or keep quiet. This freedom in man is what you call intelligence. Somebody comes and scolds you. The first response is you can also give back. You can become very angry, very upset and then hit him or even gun him down. Response number one. Response number two is, oh, after all, he is my boss. I can't afford to give him back. I have to keep quiet. I'll wait for a day when I can do that. Second choice. Third choice, hey, you are such a close friend. What has happened? You never get upset. You never get so angry normally. But now, why you are getting angry? Did you quarrel with your wife in the house? Were there any lot of problems in the house? Come on, tell me. No. You do it in a different way. Three choices we have. To the demanding situation we have these three choices. To immediately respond one-to-one, or to keep quiet, or to do it in a different way. Kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum shaktaha. This is the freedom that we all have. Yoga uses this freedom. And as we grow, then we use that freedom more and more. And we overcome the demand. Supposing there is winter, there is cold. Immediately we put on the sweaters and coats and jackets and whatnot. Can we be without them? And you are sitting here and you feel a little thirsty. Immediately take water bottle and drink. Can we not wait until we get the time for tea break? If you start applying that, using your discrimination, you are on the path of yoga. If you don't use it, we are just like animals, like robots, one-to-one. There is a demand, immediately respond. Demand, respond. And that is the dimension that we start getting. So as we grow, we move from tamas to rajas to sattva. In sattva, we have the higher freedom manifested. Then we go beyond to the pranamaya kosha. In the pranamaya kosha, our freedom increases. More and more freedom. Freedom from the bondage of eating, drinking, and food that is needed. Is it possible then? Can you live without taking food or water? Great yoga masters do that. I did not believe that it's possible. But when I returned from the United States to India, I went to Kanyakumari. In Kanyakumari, it's the most tip of India. The three oceans meet. There I heard there's a lady and she is 150 years old. And she doesn't take food at all. I said, impossible. Cannot be. So 4 of us teamed up. We wanted to test. We are all scientists, no? Therefore, we started tracking her. From morning till night, she was not taking any food. No? 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Then we thought maybe she is taking food in the night. Then we formed a 24-hour schedule. And we started tracking her. Absolutely nothing. 15 days. Then we said, let me see whether we can put some food into her mouth. It wouldn't go in. She was not talking. She was essentially naked. She was in the sandy beach. And she had some dogs with her. And that's her companion. Anything that you give, dogs will have a nice meal of it. Never. And I started seeing him from 1975 up to 1986, 11 years. Almost every day I was going to the sea beach, enjoying the sea beach, and then seeing her, she was like that. It was the scorching sun, or it's the raining, pouring rain, or winter, she was always like that. I never saw a day when she had any sneezing, any fever, nothing whatsoever. She was absolutely healthy. Always smiling and smiling and smiling. A blissful awareness. I was shattered. All my notions that we need completely balanced food, so many calories, so many vitamins, so much of carbohydrates, so much of proteins. What happened to all that? She is so healthy. I heard of many, many people like that, but I saw myself and I saw this, and for 11 years, then I was totally changed. And then I started understanding, yes, when you go into the pranamaya kosha, you don't need that. This is what the Yoga Shastra tells us. Then when you go to the manomaya kosha, your freedom further increases. You can change the complete body shape. You can take any body you like. You can become a buffalo or a donkey. Or you can be a giant. Or you can be the most significant saint, whatever you want. This choice is yours. Called Ichha Dehatva. That is Ichha Shakti. Ichha Shakti, the willpower becomes so high that you can completely change your body. And yoga says that we are made of these 5 elements, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, and these will go into the subtle form. And they are called the Pancha Tanmatras. Then when you go there, you have Manomaya Kosha. Then when you go to the Vijnanamaya Kosha, you got all the knowledge of the whole universe, the past, present and the future. Such is the tremendous freedom that we have. There is nothing that is unknown. In the complete 3rd chapter of Patanjali, he describes what types of knowledge you get. Can you get the knowledge of the whole universe without going in your rocket to the moon? Can you get all the information of the moon? Yes, he says there are special techniques for that, called the Sanyama. Using that, you'll be able to get all the knowledge, anything that you want. That is Vijnanamaya Kosha. I consider that as an infinite web. It is all there. Your mind should tune, then you get that. And finally the Anandamaya Kosha, that is infinite bliss, complete silence, quiescence. So, what is happening here, as you can see, is prana is the least freedom here in the mineral world, in the physical world. Then slowly the freedom starts increasing, locomotion. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithuna. Then you come to the intelligence. You start getting the freedom to do and undo things. Then you start gaining control and mastery over our food, thirst and hunger. Freedom goes on increasing. And when you go here, Ichhadehatva. When you go to complete knowledge and Jnana. This is called the pranic spectrum. Very similar to the electromagnetic spectrum. Here, the grossest, here are the subtlest. Here you have the grossest, you have the subtlest, and the causal. And this is the whole dimension of creation. That which is beyond all is our original state, we say. So what yoga does is to move us from wherever we are in the human spectrum, to move towards this. From an animalistic level towards normal human beings, great human beings, superhuman beings, and reach that ultimate reality itself. That is the goal of yoga. So essentially this model starts giving us the whole spectrum. You see the whole dimension of yoga. And yesterday I mentioned to you that most of the problem arises in our manomaya kosha because of the imbalance that is created. In Vijnanamaya kosha you have the perfect freedom of all knowledge. Every action is governed by the knowledge. In the manomaya kosha you are drawn by your emotions. We do what we like and we don't do what is right. Then problems start. That is where all the mental health problems start. whether it's depression, whether it's schizophrenia, whether it's epilepsy, all these things belong to this category. And what is that structure of that Adi? Excessive speed, uncontrolled speed that we saw. Mental restlessness begins with that. So what we had to do? We had to go further to Adi crystallizing as Vyadi, mental health problems. Can we reverse that? We have to go back at the dimension that we have. Allopathic system essentially deals with powerful pharmacological interventions, surgeries, all work essentially at the physical level. And we know that the root cause is here, the manomaya kosha, and we have no solution there. So what is to be done? Healthcare delivery systems have started looking beyond the allopathic system, complementary, alternate and traditional systems of healthcare. And in the United States, they start in a camp opposition the traditional systems of WHO. In India, we have the complete Ayush system. And Ayush has made a lot of contribution, thousands of years old. Before the modern medical system came to India, it was all Ayush everywhere. Ayush has 6 systems. A is Ayurveda, Y is Yoga, Naturopathy, U is Unani, S is Siddha, H is Homeopathy. Based on the science of total living, the complete understanding of the prana. And the contribution of Ayush, we were just trying to find out how many research papers have been published in the Ayush. And one of our, Dr. Manjunath, our research director, he found there are 33,000 research papers published in index journals. I'm not talking about the papers which have been produced. Tremendous amount of theses are available, but index papers are available. And using this total approach, we started this integrated approach of yoga therapy. Way back in 75, we started doing it. What do we do here? We have to bring balance at all levels. At the physical level, prana level, mind level, emotional level, intellectual level. How? We have got the complete technology. We have used Surya Namaskar, we have asanas, we have got kriyas, and we have diet. And here we use breathing practices, kriyas and pranayama. And here we use meditation and the science of emotion control. This is the key essence of dealing with mental problems. And the proper counseling, Jnana Yoga, gives you the right understanding. And Karma Yoga, to bring that entire knowledge into our day-to-day action, that the Karma Yoga I was talking. How do we know that this works? 38 years of work, therapy research that we have done. And we have dealt with large number of patients, 200,000 cases of bronchial asthma, nasal allergy, 25,000 cases of diabetes, obesity, back pain. And we have so far published 268 research papers, published in peer-reviewed index journals. We have 150 MSc dissertation, 21 PhDs, diploma in yoga therapy, 460, books on yoga, 45 we have. And this was our first paper. It got published in British Medical Journal, in which you see that we have shown between the control and the yoga group, randomized control trial, that the control group increased their medication and they have reduced 80%. It's not after 15 days and 1 month, followed up for 54 months, 4.5 years data we see. And one single paper, it made us go global in the whole encounter. And not only that, the medication reduced, you can see the PFR, peak flow rate increased, and all other parameters also increased. Then we wanted to test this hypothesis, when the Adi reduces, whether the Vyadi reduces. For that, how to measure the Adi? Our psychologists and psychiatrists, they found that these are the 3 measurements: psychophysiological checklist, self-rating anxiety scale, and Wartner's rating scale, BRS. We measured all these things and show they all improve, and because of that, all aspects of asthma reduces. Symptom score, medication score, absolute eosinophil count, PFR, bronchial lability index, everything reduced. And it's in 2 weeks, that's what we have been able to show there. And what about anxiety and depression? We had one German doctor came and worked with us, Dr. Krishnan, and he did wonderful work, went back, submitted this work, and he got a special Laurels Award and a degree for the work that he did. Here again we showed that when the Adi improves, Vyadi reduces. The symptom score reduced for anxiety, not only that, medication score also started reducing. That's just after 2 weeks. When he continued about 6 months, they all became normal. 81 people having anxiety, having depression. And the important pranayama dimension is what we call the Nadi Shuddhi, 12 rounds of Nadi Shuddhi that we did. What is the key essence? Give deep rest to the body-mind complex, IRT, QRT, DRT, and today evening again we will have the practice of that. That is cyclic meditation. Similarly for diabetes we have done, published in British Journal of Complementary Medicine, and not only FPS, PPPS, but the glycated hemoglobin also have come down. And we have been doing in our Arogya Dhamma, we have got results, and we have a lot of sample size. Let's see that, go a little faster. FPS have reduced, doing that. Let's see whether I can do the faster here. Yeah. Then we had a randomized controlled trial. We had experimental group and others, and fasting blood glucose, PPBS, everything measured, we have shown. HbA1c have come down, LDL, LDL, VLDL. And conclusion of that study is yoga is better than exercise in increasing HDL, reducing LDL and oral hypoglycemic medication. Yoga is similar to exercise in reducing blood glucose, HbA1c level, triglycerides and total cholesterol. And with that, we have taken up the Stop Diabetes movement in the whole country, in Gujarat, Andhra, everywhere we have been able to show. And again, we showed here that even in rheumatoid arthritis, Adi plays an important role. When Adi reduces, the Vyadi reduces, we have shown. Essentially, stress reduction restores immune system normalcy. Autoimmunity is reduced, we have shown. Even here, yoga reduces the craving by stress reduction. And that's how we deal with this thing. And this is the result that we got in 2 weeks of IMIT. Again, you can see all parameters, not only weight reduction, but cholesterol, triglyceride, LDL, VLDL, HDL also has increased in that stress project. And how does it work? We have the right nostril breathing called the Surya Lom Vilom Pranayama. 27 rounds, 4 times a day, reduces 2 kgs. The simplest way to reduce the weight. Thousands of people have been doing that. What is the rationale? When you breathe through the right nostril, the Surya Nadi increases, and thereby there is an increased catabolic rate. Therefore, you can see that there is 37% increase in the oxygen consumption, and that is the one that has been coming up. And mental retardation, cerebral palsy, all these things we have been able to show that yoga works wonders with all improved IQ in the yoga group compared to the control group, with a very significant published in British Journal of Mental Efficiency Research. And therefore we started our special school. We have shown that the severely mentally retarded become moderate, moderate become mild, mild will become normal. We have many, many people who become normal children, and we have shown that IQ develops and becomes normal. Even in cancer, we have fantastic results, and we have been able to show when you work holistically, then it works wonders. And people started coming to our Arogya Dham 250-bed facility, where we have got this people getting the symptoms improved. Then we started working to see whether IMIT and breast cancer can reduce during the radiation, chemotherapy and surgery. We have shown that yoga works very well. Then metastatic breast cancer we took, and we showed that all the immune blossoming takes place. Then we did the DNA repair mechanism, and studies on apoptosis showed that the apoptotic index also improves quite significantly. So we had dealt with a large number of cases. So in our university, we have this 5 division and several courses. Research students, we have 150. Total students, we have 1,500. And is recognized by ICMR Center of Excellence in Yoga and Neurophysiology. And we have collaborations all over the world, particularly with the MD Anderson Cancer Center. We have a big project on breast cancer going on, a 3-home trial for 600 patients. And we have got a big NIH grant there for $5 million. And yoga for pain management, other universities here. In Germany, we have yoga on trauma going on. So now, what do you want to use all this knowledge base? In India, diabetes is soaring high. We are taking up Stop Diabetes movement. Even here, we want to have this for depression control program and Stop Diabetes movement. In India, we have the Stop Diabetes movement in 30 cities, 5,000 we have taken and others. And essentially, what we have to do is that we have conquered our outer space, but not inner space. We have split the atom, but not our prejudice. That's what we have to change. And that's the great message that we bring from Swami Vivekananda. whose tallest statue is in Prashanti Kutiram. You're most welcome. The 23 feet tall statue, a little glimpse of our Prashanti Kutiram. And Prashanti Kutiram is the name of our campus, where our university is there, and a 250 beds facility is there. Thank you all for your patient hearing. Thank you.